Hi, today I'm talking to Preet, and I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I am Preet. I was an international student at UBC. I did a combined major in computer science and math, and now I'm working as a software engineer at Amazon. Yeah, that's just a little about me.
Yeah, straightforward to the point. At Amazon, then, like, what type of projects do you work on there, and what do you kind of do in those projects, if you're allowed to disclose?
Right. So I work under the AWS org, and one of the service that AWS has is called backup or data protection. And I am part of that org at AWS. And so the kind of things we do is you have a bunch of resources on your AWS account, and our service helps you back up those resources and then restore those resources. For example, if you have a database that you want to restore as it was exactly on X date at X time, then that's kind of in a gist what a service does. We have a bunch of like other features and everything, but at its core, it's data protection, backing up, restoring, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. Sounds very, very high tech. What would you say then an average day looks like for you, like the tasks you get given during the day, meetings, stuff like that?
Right. Um, At Amazon, the experience is like very team dependent. I'll share what my experience has been like so far. Essentially, on a day-to-day basis, we have like first we have like everyone's kind of assigned a project in our team, and the way our team kind of works in their structure is that let's say our team has like 10 people, then we will essentially have 10 like projects, about 10 projects going on simultaneously, where each person is a tech lead for one project. Everyone works on everything, but there's one person who's tech lead. So for example, there's a new feature that we're working on. I'm tech lead for it. So as part of that, what I need to do is sit on meetings with PMs and my manager to figure out, okay, what do we need to build, write all the documentation for that, like make sprints, make tickets, and make sure we can achieve it in a time frame, and then obviously actually coding and implementing it. So that's how kind of the day is split between all these tasks. Um, that would be your average day. It varies depending on, sometimes you might not have meetings with PMs, and sometimes it just be code all day. But yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's like a combination of of meetings and actual coding. I would say more often than not, it's less meetings, at least in my team, and more coding throughout the day. On average, in a week, we'll have about at least 1 or 2 meetings a day. And yeah, that's kind of what my day-to-day looks like.
Okay, cool. What would you say then are some of the best things you enjoy about your job?
Right. Some of the best things. I think one of the things that people don't consider when they are uh, going into a full-time software engineering role is that your job doesn't just stop from 9 to 5. If you have like a problem, your mind will sometimes be thinking about that problem all day. And as like I really love like the problem solving aspect. And so getting to work on these new challenges and new problems at like the Amazon scale is kind of what excites me. And I think that's where I've seen most it's I've been at Amazon like 5 months now, and I think that's where particularly I've seen most of my growth, where I get a new challenging problem and I learn a bunch of stuff from that. And so, yeah, I think the problem solving aspect has been the most rewarding so far.
Okay, cool. That does sound really, really interesting. What about maybe the thing that you like the least, or that maybe you didn't expect that you don't really
Right.
enjoy?
One of the things when I started and I really wanted to focus on was having a good work-life balance. I've heard horror stories about Amazon making everyone work 24/7, and I didn't want to be one of those people. But I think in practice, it's much harder to kind of maintain that work-life balance. A lot of the job as a software engineer at the end of the day is to satisfy the customer, to make sure they have what they need. And the requirements and stuff can come in bursts. So you might have a month of like pulling an all-nighter or working 10 hours a day. But you would have other times when you just work like an hour or two a day and you're good to go. So I think that kind of variability in my job, where sometimes I'm just kind of exhausted and being like worked to my max, is something I don't like. And um, I try to explore ways with my manager to kind of help, make my work-life balance much better.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I feel like work-life balance is oftentimes underlooked, especially in like society right now. And it's good to see that you're taking steps towards managing that. What would you advise to students, high school, or even if you want first, second year uni, who are considering becoming software engineers?
Right. So like, do you mean like just general advice, what they should be looking out for if they want to kind of go into this career?
Yeah, like maybe opportunities to look at to gain more exposure to the field or skills they could try and develop.
Right. I think one thing is that it's important to find out if software engineering is for you. Like, will you be in your life? Will you be willing to sit in front of a screen and write code for a couple hours straight, right? And I think the best things for that is like working on projects and looking for internships. Also, I see a lot of people make projects just for the name sake of it. Essentially, okay, I just made a website in React and deployed it, etc. I think students should look out to do projects that solve a problem. That solves a problem for you. That solves a problem for you or your friends or anyone, right? A project that can actually be used, something that you actually deploy and you see it through from end to end, and you have someone using it at least for a certain amount of time, right? Like, for example, one of the projects I did was that it was really tedious at UBC to book gym slots during COVID, because they would like fill up instantly. So I wrote a bot that automates booking my gym slot for me on the cloud that's deployed, and me and my roommates were using that to automatically just book a slot for us. So something like that, right? Think of a problem that you're facing and see if you can solve it. Obviously, every problem will have different approaches to solve it, and something might require more of your time than others. But yeah, make sure like you spend some time gaining that knowledge and seeing that one project through. And yeah, I think that can be a great learning experience as a software engineer. And so, yeah, I highly recommend making projects that are useful, not just for the namesake of it, but something that'll solve a problem. And that's a skill that will help you at the job as well.
Yeah, my friend did a similar thing. He's in computer engineering too, interestingly enough. And he made a leaderboard for this game where users can upload their scores and it ranks everybody across the country. And so
Right.
it's really cool, like trying to integrate your interests into computers and see if you
Yeah,
enjoy the
exactly, right.
process.
Yeah, it's something people can like touch in the sense it's something people can interact with. So it's something for recruiters to also like interact with and see when they're looking at your profile, right? So that can really help. And once you work on projects like this, you also get a sense of, oh, did I like doing this? Like, was this worth it at the end, or did I not like doing it? Like, something that you're making, some problems that you're solving could take like months for you to see through the project. So yeah, that kind of it gives the recruiter also something to look at.
Touching on recruiters, one last question for you before we'll wrap up. In your experience, and since you're in the industry, you might have more insight into it. What is the job market like for computer engineering?
Right now it's a little on the grim side, where people I'm sure you might have heard that people are being laid off So many people are being laid off in a lot of across a lot of companies. But at the end of the day, there are still enough jobs for in the market for software engineers. One thing that can make you kind of like recession proof is making, I feel like a lot of students don't make an active effort into selecting which team they want to go to. So I think you should make an active effort to try and find a team that is high impact and like high impact as in provides a lot of value to the customer, is making money and so on. I know that in a lot of companies, you don't get the option to do that, like which team you want to go to, and you're just assigned one. But if you do get the option, and if you do talk to the recruiter, try and pick a team that is doing well, has like high impact and has good financials. So that's one thing that really helps. Also, new teams that are making stuff from scratch is also a good starting point. And so, yeah, making an active effort into like what team you go, making an active effort into looking what team you go to can be really beneficial in those regards.
What do you mean by high impact exactly?
Right. High impact as in, okay, for example, I was really hoping to go to a team at AWS, which is a service that's used by a lot of customers, right? Like, for example, I was really hoping for something like EC2, backup, data protection, .53. These are services that everyone uses. It's high impact in the sense that if anything goes wrong with these services, then customers will be mad. Like customers will feel the effects that, okay, something went down. High impact in the sense they're serving a lot of customers. And also in this kind in such a team, you will also have opportunities to work on projects that are high impact. You can be rolling out a feature that might be requested by like thousands of customers, and that kind of helps you be put on the map within the team as well, right? So by high impact, I mean that they have a lot of customers. They are something that's a product that's being used avidly by a lot of people, and also having good financials is kind of part of it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much today for stopping by and sharing your experiences and your insights. It's really interesting hearing from an Amazon employee kind of what computer engineering is like, because Amazon is pretty top of the top. And so thank you again for stopping by.